I get asked all the time, how often should I rinse the blade and how should I do it? Well, I recommend that you just simply take the razor and swish it in your water. Just swish it in your water and rotate it. When you're cutting, after you've taken 2 or 3, 4 strokes, you want to rinse your razor and you want to rotate it. Get to the other side of the blade. The blade itself consists of 2 sides, 2 edges. And when you look at a double-edged blade, you've got 2 edges to it, one on top, one on the bottom, and you simply take that. When you're washing your blade out in the sink, you're rinsing the debris right off the blade. If you're having trouble getting the debris off the blade, all you have to do is just release slightly, get a little bit of play in your cap, and then go on ahead, rinse it through your sink, and then go on ahead and tighten it down again. Don't forget to hold the end caps, and go back and resume your form reduction. I recommend very strongly that after you have completed a shave, when you're done with your shave, before you shave the next day, you go on ahead, open your razor, all right? Let's say your blade is sitting there. Just open your razor, remove your cap, take your blade, and flip it to the back side. Cut on the opposite bevel, and go on ahead and reset your razor, get your cap and base plate reconnected, nicely compressed, and you're back in business. You will find by flipping your blade like that from one side to the other, you'll get a very, very good shave the next day. Now, I would like to for a moment talk about how many shaves to expect from a blade. Now, this is a subject that is open to a lot of discussion and interpretation. Let me just say this. In terms of what to look for when you're shaving with a double-edged razor and how to gauge the life of your blade. The sheeted steel that we use for the production of double-edged blades is extremely fine. The better the blade, the finer the steel. It's important to keep in mind that every time you take a blade stroke with a double-edged blade, that edge degrades. It slightly crumbles. As it continues, as you continue to cut beard mass, as you continue to engage in that reduction process, every time you take a stroke with that blade, it's going to deteriorate, which means it's going to get a zigzag pattern. If you were to look at it under a microscope, you would see a zigzag pattern start to form with every single stroke. And remember, these blades are produced by the millions on a big, large band of steel that is run through honers. So these blades are kicked out by the millions, so they're not perfect. But most of them are very, very good. So as you're shaving, you'll notice that the more strokes you put on that blade over time, you'll notice a phenomenon that I call trapping. And trapping is where the razor itself actually seems to be hanging up. And you'll notice trapping is particularly bad on your second form and your third form counterline. As you're pitching that steel blade back, if the blade is going dull, it'll start to trap. It'll start to catch the buttress, the beard buttress, and hang. That is your sign that your blade is dull. That's the time at which to get out of that blade. I strongly encourage you, if you're coming down on your second form reduction and your razor is trapping, it's hanging up, I would stop and put a new blade in the razor. To continue to cut is to invite trouble, because there's nothing more dangerous than a blade that has too many shaves on it. Now, I understand that there are people on the internet who claim that they're getting 6, 7, and 8 shaves with a double-edged blade. I have never seen those people. Those people have not been introduced to me. I don't know how they're doing it. I would like for them to demonstrate how they're doing it, and I'd like to see the results. I don't think it's possible, but again, presumably there are people out there who are doing it. If you have a very, very, very thin beard, you may be able to get away with 4 or 5 shaves on a blade. But for the average shaver, to push the steel past 2 shaves on a blade is to ask for trouble. One form of trouble that you can expect is ingrowns, particularly on the upper third quadrant. The number one complaint I get from shavers is, ingrowns from double-edged razors. Why does it happen? And the answer is always and forever the same. If you put too many shaves on a blade, you're going to get ingrowns on the upper third quadrant. You can even get them on the upper second quadrant. You can get them all over because the blade is no longer cutting. It is grabbing, it is trapping on against the counterline buttress, and it's pulling hair instead of cutting it. This is why you really, really want to keep a brand new blade as much as possible in the razor. No more than 2 shaves. When that trapping effect starts, in method shaving, you can certainly grab your cube, you can pull some slag from the cube, you can spread that wet slag, and you can get through that last third form. That wet slag will help you reduce and cut through that buttress that's hanging up, but you really want to stay away from doing that as much as possible. If at all possible, try to remember how many shaves you put on a blade. Just every 2 days, kick it out. As you become a better method shaver, you'll quickly discover that on that first form, you pick up your razor. Let's say you have too many shaves. If you have 2 shaves on it already, you pick it up, you start cutting that first form. As you descend down into that lower second quadrant, you'll notice you get down in this first quadrant muzzle area. You'll notice that the razor is going to start to trap up on you. At that point, you'll probably remember, oh, I've got too many shaves on this thing. Stop right there. Don't push the steel through that entire shave. If that razor is trapping up on you on that first form, that's your danger signal. Go on ahead, stop, kick out your blade, put a new blade in, and continue. Next thing I would like to quickly cover is the range of blades, how to understand the quality of different blades. In most cases, your blade will only perform as well as your mix. The better your mix, the better your blade will perform. I've cut a lot of different blades in my life, in my shaving life. I've cut dozens of them. In general, most blades that come into the United States today are pretty good. They're pretty good. For the average shaver who just wants to do a 2-form reduction and isn't real concerned about doing the gloss, wet gloss finish at the end and all that, most blades are adequate, particularly if you're going to put 1 shave on a blade. I don't want to talk about different brands in general today because I cannot stand here and insist that you only cut a certain range of brands. My point is, if you're happy with a blade, stay with it. If you're not, you want to move up. I can tell you that the best blade that we have currently, in general, for closeness, for comfort, and for speed is the Feather Platinum out of Japan. That has been the premium blade in the United States for over 10 years now. The steel is outstanding. The consistency is perfect. It's just a very, very difficult blade to beat. Another great blade is, of course, the Merkur coming out of Germany. That's always been an excellent blade. That's a great beginner's blade. We've got Bix that are outstanding. There are some shavers out there who are using blades I've never heard of before that contact me and tell me that they're excellent. There are new blades coming in all the time. Try them. Get some of the sample packets that are available. Those are excellent. An excellent way to begin shaving with a wide range of blades. I think there's a gentleman out in California who sells these collections of blade packets, samples. I think is an outstanding thing. Buy one of those, order one of those in, and cut that range of blades he's provided. I've heard that the range is excellent and very representative of the best that we've got in the country today. New blades are coming in continuously, which is a very good thing to know.